Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing? I'm Sean Lutz, coming to you from SLS Studios here in Dallas, Texas. Today is October 24th, 2025. This is going to be episode number 3 from Detroit Red Wings NHL update. Let's just jump right into it, folks. Last night, Detroit Red Wings coming off a loss against the Buffalo the previous night. Head right into the Long Island in New York there. Cut to the chase. We got our asses handed to us. We were spanked 7-2. Man, we got outworked. We got outplayed. We made cardinal sin errors. We stunk it up 7-2. I mean, right off the bat, 2 minutes and 5 seconds in, we get scored upon. Not the start that you want coming off a loss the previous night. A couple minutes later, we're down 2-0. At the end of one, it's not looking good, folks. We're down 2. Second period, it wasn't any better. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. They peel off 3. I'm just making this as brief as I can because I'm going to get my blood pressure up. But yeah, after second, it was we were down 5-0. Terrible play by the Wings. All those were even strength goals. And then, one of them was a cardinal sin goal. What can you say, man? Anyway, the third period wasn't a lot better. There were some positives there. We had Larkin connecting on the power play. But it didn't last long. I mean, they peeled off a couple more. You had Heineman and Holmstrom peel off a couple. It was 7-1 at that time, and then Bergie got us on the board again, made it 7-2. But that was it. I mean, we stunk it up. It wasn't a good night. It's one of those ones you just kind of want to, forget about. I think, we got outworked. It was just a rough night altogether. I just want to forget about it. I will say that we did have opportunities, and, timing is everything. And, just like, we get off to a slow start, you're battling uphill right off the bat, right? That's timing. If we didn't give up a goal in a couple minutes of opening period, so things could be outcome. If we didn't miss that, goal that we should have had, we had some opportunities. It wasn't a lot of them, but timing is everything. If we would have, scored on the one power play, or blocked this shot there, or killed this off, timing is everything. We had some opportunities, not a whole hell of a lot, but some of them could have changed the flow and ebb of the game. And then as far as DeBrincat goes, I'm not too worried about him. He had some good looks. As long as he's getting looks, folks, he's going to bury it one of these times. Alex, don't grip the stick too tight. Just keep playing, keep shooting the puck. You're going to get it in there. Sooner or later, that'll land for you, buddy. Just keep up, keep positive. The other thing is I don't like using pardon me, the second of the back-to-back as an excuse. I think we use that too much, and I would like to not ever see it mentioned again. Did Montreal played the same night we did a second of back-to-back, and this will lead us into some of the other coverage last night. Is they headed into Edmonton. Montreal did. They did the same thing. They played the night before. They traveled. They didn't stink it up coming out the bat. That was a barn burner of a game. I hope you tuned into that one. But nonetheless, they came out and it didn't affect them as much. It did later in the game. I'll talk about that in a bit. But back to the Wings game. You just want to forget about these. Write it off, and then prepare for the next game. And we got a tough schedule coming up. We got a home and home against St. Louis. They're in town on Saturday, and we head on the road. And it's going to be a tough road trip for us. We play the second of a back-to-back on Tuesday against St. Louis. And then it's at that difficult road trip out west. This is going to make, could make or break us. Huge pivotal road trip. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough schedule where we're going to be playing LA, Anaheim, San Jose, and Vegas. It's going to be a tough road trip, but we'll be on the road for a full week, 7 days. That's going to put see where we're at the end of that, and then that's going to bring us into November, and then what the date is in November, folks. U.S. Thanksgiving. That is going to tell us what kind of team we really have and where we're going to be close to ending up at come the end of the season. But let's just see how it plays out. It's only 8 games in, folks. A lot of time. Let's not panic. Pardon me. Now, the coverage of the other NHL games that we had on, forgetting about the stinker in New York, is Pittsburgh was over Florida 5-3. The LA Kings that came into Dallas, this was a really good game. Close game, went into overtime, 3-2. LA Kings over the Dallas Stars. I was bummed about that one. But the really good game was that I mentioned briefly was Montreal, who headed into Edmonton. This was a big barn burner. I mean, I got to watch some of this one because the Wings were really pretty much stinking it up, and then I watched it afterwards. But anyway, Edmonton got off to a good lead, peeled off a few, and then Montreal answered back, peeled off, I think, 4 straight. And then ended up taking a lead going into the third period, 4-3. But here comes the mighty Oilers, answered back. They ended up winning that in a barn burner, 6-5. Was the second of the back-to-back in effect there with Montreal fading away. I think it was more of Edmonton and their star players playing in front of their home crowd. But that is what it is. The good news there is Montreal lost. So we're still only 2 points behind. They got 12, we got 10. 8 games in for us, folks. We got a game in hand on that. That's going to kind of wrap it up for the last night's coverage, and we're going to move on to today. It's a light night. Since last night, we had 24 teams play. Today, not that many. It's going to be a light night. Notable ones are Maple Leafs at the Sabres in Buffalo, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then we got Washington, seeing if we can get Ovechkin to get there, keep breaking the records. Anyway, Washington moves into Colorado. They take on the Avalanche at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then out west, it's going to be a pretty decent matchup with Calgary at Winnipeg. That's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern. And that's going to wrap it up for today's edition of Detroit Red Wings NHL Update. I'll catch you on the next one. Everybody, have a great day. See the light. Be kind. Be nice. Peace.